Yo, what's good, everybody? It's me, Don Weeb, here, back with part 13 for What If Naruto Had One for All. Last time, Team 7 battled against Kakashi, as well as passing the flying colors, and now we continue on with the Gaara rescue mission for the Kazekage mission today. If you guys like this series and want more of it to come, make sure to hit the like button, comment down below what you thought of this video, and subscribe to the channel for more. We just hit 6,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. We are almost at our goal, actually. Our goal for 2020 is to hit 10,000 subscribers on the channel. If we can do that, that'd be amazing. So in order to do that, I'll need all of your guys' support. Thanks so much, and let's get into it. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would be heading towards Lady Tsunade's office, as they've been called in for their first official mission in 3 years. Sasuke would rush in as Naruto's running, and sees him next to him. "Good morning, Sasuke. You look well today." Sasuke would smile, which Naruto hadn't seen for a long time, which made Naruto feel pretty good. Naruto would see as his best friend Sasuke, and Sakura would all meet up, as the three of them would now be at the office for Lady Hokage Tsunade. As Naruto arrives, he'd ask Grandma Tsunade what's going on and what she needs their help with. Tsunade would say that now that Team 7 has passed their examination to see how they were doing, it's time to see if they can really keep up, as Sakura had actually been one of the only ones to advance to a Jonin, and Sasuke and Naruto hadn't yet left their Genin rank, and this would be their first mission where Sakura would actually be a higher rank than them. Sakura would smirk, as well as she bats her eyes at Sasuke, asking if isn't that amazing. Naruto and Sasuke wouldn't really care about the ranking system, as they just want to get this mission over with and see what's going on. As soon as Naruto is briefed on the mission, he'd be worried about Gaara, hearing that the Akatsuki's gotten a hold of him. Damn them. I'm going to make those Akatsuki pay for taking Gaara. Sasuke would nod, as he and Naruto would decide that they'd be heading out later, that very same day. Sakura would be shocked that they're planning on leaving without her, with Naruto and Sasuke just looking at Sakura with blank stares. Sakura would sigh as she says she has to go pack her stuff, as a few hours later, Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura would be ready to go. Just as the three of them are about to head out, we suddenly hear footsteps, as Kakashi jumps in front of them asking if they were really planning on leaving him behind. Naruto would laugh as he said they almost forgot Kakashi-sensei was there, with Sasuke looking back and forth, realizing that there was only 3 of them. Kakashi would look pretty bummed out, as he then tells him that they were going to leave him there. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, along with Kakashi would now leave the Leaf Village, as they begin their 3-day trek to get to the Sand Village, as well as rescue Gaara. Naruto would use One for All to keep his body and physical stamina up, which meant Naruto was often sent to scout ahead for any sandstorms or anything like that. Naruto would then come back with any reports, as well as telling Kakashi there's nothing ahead, and that they'd be there pretty fast. They pick up their pace as Sasuke and Naruto would be almost on even term in strength without Naruto using One for All, as now the trio plus Kakashi would have finally made it to the Sand Village. As they get to the Sand Village, Lady Chiho would be there as they see that Kankuro's down. Kankuro had tried to follow Sasori as well as Deidara when they had abducted Gaara. Sakura would actually be useful and save Kankuro for the first time in her life. "I finally caught up to Naruto and Sasuke." We see a flashback as Sakura heals a fish. Anyway, back to the present, Sakura is actually being a useful medical ninja as she continues working on Kankuro and saves his life. Kankuro would thank Sakura for helping him out, and Naruto and Sasuke would ask what happened, with Sasuke being more on the interrogation. As Sasuke asked what had happened and why he got in such a bad shape, Kankuro would explain about the puppet mastery of Sasori the Red Sand. Naruto, who'd be listening in on this, would tell them that they should probably get going then if the Akatsuki's really trying to abduct all these Jinchuriki, which would include himself eventually. Naruto would begin to feel that same connection to Gaara that he had felt in the original with being a fellow Jinchuriki. Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi, and Sakura would head out, with Sakura being behind by a few hours to make sure Kankuro was alright, as well as check on any other ninja there that might need some help, as she was a trained assistant of the great legendary Tsunade. As Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi would eventually be making it towards the cave area, Sakura would catch up as they're waiting, watching the cave entrance as they can see that there's some chakra residuating from the entrance. Sakura would watch and ask if Naruto wants to take this one, with Naruto nodding and saying he'd be honored to. Time to prove that my training with Pervy Sage hasn't been for nothing. As Naruto leaps down to the valley below, where the giant rock is covering the entrance of the Akatsuki's ritual to pull out the Jinchuriki's bijou, Naruto would charge up One for All into his right arm, and as well as his full body. Orange sparks would begin to cover his whole body, as Naruto's eyes would light up, with him now having a much greater mastery over this power, as proven from him seeing the vestiges in the last episode. Naruto would then throw a full-powered punch, as hard as he can, into the boulder. As the boulder is immediately hit by Naruto's fast, blitzing punch, the boulder is sent crashing into the cave, ripping off the top of the mountain as it goes flying into the air, and causing a large dust storm in the area a few miles away. Naruto's fist has steam coming off of it, as he deactivates One for All, with now the two Akatsuki members left standing there. Deidara and Sasori are in awe of Naruto's power, as well as wondering what had just hit them, if that was a tornado or something. The rest of Team 7 would jump in as Deidara tries to fly away, taking Gaara as he decides he has to get out of there. Naruto and Kakashi would follow instinctively, as Sasuke would split off from the group as he and Sakura, along with Lady Chiho who had accompanied them, would then go after Sasori. As Sasori would then be locked in the cavern with Sakura and Sasuke and Lady Chiho fighting him, Naruto and Kakashi would continue to pursue Deidara, so that way they can get him and Gaara. As Naruto and Kakashi are now following them, Naruto has now boosted his power in his body and physical strength by tenfold by using One for All. His speed is now much faster, as he continues to run directly under Deidara's Claybird. This guy's fast, even for a Jinchuriki, Deidara be thinking, as Naruto's run speed is keeping up to him in flight. Deidara would kick it up a notch as he goes at full speed, with Naruto doing the same, with Kakashi behind. Kakashi would try to keep up as best as he can, but his physical strength and agility just isn't as high as Naruto's. Back to the cave, we see Sasuke and Sakura still getting into the battle with Sasori. Sasori has now summoned his 100 puppets and revealed his true form. Now, Sasuke was fighting against Sasori almost on his own, as Lady Chiho and Sakura are trying to maneuver themselves around the two battling. Sasuke has his long grass blade sword, which he's using to slice up and disconnect all of the chakra lines by running chakra down the metal edge of his blade as he slices through the puppet master jutsu, causing all of the strings attached to the puppets to disconnect. As Sasuke is continuing to battle, Sasori is now becoming more desperate, as his heart canister has been revealed, with what is the key to his immortality now being exposed. Sasuke would then charge it. Chidori. As Sasuke creates the base form Chidori, he then rushes for it at full speed as he slashes it, trying to get Sasori. Just as he's about to pierce into the heart of Sasori, Sasori would be barely able to dodge out of the Chidori's way, as Sasori goes crashing into the other cave wall, causing a large explosion of lightning-type nature energy. Sakura will now get her chance to shine, finally, as she comes rushing in of her own punch that she learned from Tsunade, as she charges up her arm and her hand with as much chakra as she can, punching Sasori in the back while he's turned, causing him to go flying backwards. This time I won't miss, Sasuke would say, as he then takes his sword ready to pierce Sasori in his heart. Sasuke would pierce Sasori directly in his heart, as Sasori now begins to see the light as he's passing out. He would tell the two of them about some information that they might want to know about Orochimaru, as well as some of the other Akatsuki members about going to the Land of Grass to meet his informant. Sakura would take this to memory, while Sasuke would consider this useful. As Sasori passes away, now completely falling into the darkness and having died, Lady Chiho would feel an immense sorrow, just as she had in the original, as she sees her grandson die. She sees inside of her grandson her own spirit and what she had passed along with her puppet master jutsu down the generations. Lady Chiho, Sasuke, and Sakura then exit the cave as we see Naruto catching up to Deidara. Naruto is now using 35% of One for All, as he creates shadow clones that boost him as they pick up and throw him at the bird that Gaara is being captured in. "Damn you, Akatsuki," Naruto would say, as he then finally leaps forward, pulling his fist back as he throws a mighty punch. The air begins to move as a torrent of wind comes flying out of where Naruto had punched. As Naruto's fist is about to collide with Deidara, Deidara jumps back just in time. However, he's still hit by the wind shock back, taking less of a blow, but still a strong one. As Naruto's just the wind pressure from his fist causes Deidara to go flying off of his bird. A tornado begins to form from Naruto's strength as the sky above begins to change weather as it begins to start to rain. This is when the Kyuubi starts to come out as Naruto's rage at Deidara is beginning to shine through and allow Nine Tails to give him more chakra.
Deidara, where are you?
Naruto says as he's in Three Tails mode. Naruto begins crashing through the forest now. At a much higher rate of speed, he's ripping trees down and using almost 50% of One For All, which is basically destroying the entire area. At this point, Kakashi finally catches up. This is where they see Deidara. Deidara would catch up with Kakashi as the two meet each other while Deidara is trying to hide in the forest. So that's the power that Jiraiya Sensei had been almost taken down by, Kakashi would be thinking, as he has that same flashback of what Jiraiya had told him, with Jiraiya having fought Naruto while he was in Nine-Tails state and almost dying from it. Kakashi would pull out the sealing jutsu that Jiraiya had gave him as he rushes down quickly before Naruto can turn around and slams onto his forehead, causing the Kyuubi to be resealed. This is when Kakashi would then use Kamui on Deidara, as he hasn't used it yet today, causing Deidara's left arm to get completely ripped off. As Deidara then rushes away, leaving Gaara behind, now having the Bijou, he'd fly off on his clay bird trying to escape. Now, Gaara would be dead, as Naruto would wake up after his Kyuubi mode deactivates. Gaara, Naruto would be saying, as he looks down at his friend, a fellow Jinchuriki having been felled by the Akatsuki. Damn it, I failed. Naruto would say, as tears begin to roll down his face as he realizes his failure, just as in the original. This is when they'd pick up Gaara's body and meet back with Sasuke, Lady Chiho, and Sakura. Sasuke would also look down in shame as they had failed to rescue the Kazekage. As they placed Gaara down, Lady Chiho would then have that same speech about how she had time to let the new generation grow, and how she had been the one that forced the jutsu, as well as used the sealing jutsu to put the Bijou in Gaara. This was her responsibility. As she uses the ultimate healing jutsu. Sacrifice no jutsu, one-time use, and never teach anyone. As she uses this, she would then sacrifice her life to revive Gaara completely from death. Kind of OP, but whatever. As Lady Chiho would then do this, Gaara would awaken with the sight of the fellow sand shinobi having arrived, with Sasuke as well as Naruto cheering for him. Sakura would be sad about Lady Chiho, who would only be remembered one time after this in the war arc. Just as Gaara has now recovered, he'd be picked up by Sasuke and Naruto as they would carry him back to the village. Gaara would thank Naruto and Sasuke for saving him, and the two would tell him it was no problem, as they then would bring Gaara back to the Sand Village, with now the One-Tails Shukaku having been taken. Naruto and the rest of Team 7 would now then head back to the Leaf Village, as they'd been given the thumbs up of approval for their job, saying that they've done an excellent work of getting Gaara back. Now, Naruto and Team 7 would now be back in the Leaf, as a possible next mission of theirs to take down one of Sasori's accomplices, and spies for him who'd been working on spying on Orochimaru and giving information back. It was time that Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would go and finish off what had been plaguing them since their fight against Orochimaru back in the Forest of Death, that fear that they've had for so long of him. Sasuke especially has a vendetta against Orochimaru after what he implanted on him with the curse mark, having almost tainted Sasuke enough to even have him consider going to that snake. Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura would discuss this. As Kakashi gets back, he's almost down. We see that Guy's team actually meets up with them on their way back, with Guy volunteering to hold Kakashi instead of Sasuke. As Guy brings Kakashi back, having made it a race, Naruto and Sasuke would make it there quickly as well, with them discussing the information that Sasuke and Sakura had found from Sasori. I think we should go after this guy. He said that in the land of grass, right? This is what Naruto would ask Sasuke, of course, with Sasuke replying that if they're going to go, they're going to have to wait for Kakashi to recover, as Kakashi looks like he's almost out of chakra after using his Sharingan ability. Sasuke would look at what Naruto had told him about the pattern of the Sharingan having changed from what he had seen, and how Deidara's arm had just disappeared. Sasuke would consider this and then remember what Itachi had, and what had affected him back during the Uchiha massacre many years ago. Naruto would be hanging out with Shikamaru as well as Sasuke, who would decide to go get something to eat with them. As they're walking around, Shoji would tag along, as now the four of them are walking around Konoha. Suddenly, beasts would arrive all around them. These ink beasts would seemingly appear from nowhere, as our heroes look up to see a strange person standing there, as he's drawing these beasts, which are now attacking them. Attack Formation B, Shikamaru would say, as then Naruto would then rush forward, activating One for All as the orange sparks cover his body. As Naruto then leaped over to Sai, much faster than Sai had even anticipated, Sasuke would already be there as well, as Sasuke and Naruto are now cornered this person. Shikamaru would now have him on the Shadow Pujutsu, as Sai is now against 4v1. Sai would introduce himself, as Sasuke would guess these from the Foundation, purely based off his clothes and his formalities and mannerisms. Shikamaru would then agree with this, as Naruto doesn't really know what's going on. Sai would then praise them for their assessment, as he is indeed from the Foundation, and he had been sent there in order to check out his new teammates. What? Naruto would say, as Sai would say that he'd actually be his and Sasuke's new teammate while Kakashi's out of commission. Based on this, Tsunade would send in her own commission in order to make sure that Danzo had nothing which would be going against them. This would be Yamato, of course, as we already know, as Yamato is also sent to be the Team 7's temporary leader as Kakashi is gone. As Sakura volunteers to stay behind and help with Kakashi's healing, Sakura would not come along this time on the Orochimaru mission. Instead, we have a four-man team of Yamato, Sai, Sasuke, and Naruto, with Naruto being the powerhouse, our healer, which would be technically, I guess, Yamato, and Sasuke and Sai for reconnaissance and just long-range attacks in general. As the four then head out for their mission to the Land of Grass to retrieve the piece of information that Sasori had told them about Orochimaru, one of the greatest rogue ninja of the Leaf ever. They'd then begin their plan, as Yamato would explain to them about what they'd be doing there while they're waiting for their informant. Yamato would use the transformation jutsu on himself and one of his clone, so as he can make the outfit much more believable than it would be if it was just himself. Sasuke, Sai, and Naruto would then wait on the hill behind them, as they're now waiting for Sasori's informant to arrive. Little do they know that this informant would be Kabuto. As Kabuto arrives on the bridge, greeting Sasori, Lord Sasori himself, he would then use his medical chakra scalpel, as he then slices at Yamato, hitting his clone as the wood clone disappears. Yamato would jump back, as this is when Kabuto would ask if this is really Sasori's true form, out of curiosity. Then deciding against it, that means that Sasori must have been felled. This is when suddenly Sasuke, Naruto, and Sai would all feel it. Lord Orochimaru. Orochimaru would arrive, as it was Sai's mission to actually take out Orochimaru and take his medical as well as gene therapy that he had learned in order for Danzo to take for the Foundation and the Leaf. Naruto would jump into battle almost immediately, as he comes flying off the cliff, kicking it off as rocks spatter around. Sasuke would then jump as well, as he and Sai land on one of his ink birds. As Sasuke is ready to fly towards Orochimaru, Orochimaru then laughs as he catches Naruto's fist. Naruto's eyes would be strained as the veins in his forehead are popped, as he then says, "Well, hello, Orochimaru. It's good to see you again," he would say as he throws another jab punch directly into Orochimaru's gut. Orochimaru would cough as he goes flying backwards, going sent 5 or 6 feet, as he then lands on his feet, telling Naruto he's gotten much more powerful. Naruto would tell him that he can cut the crap, and that he's ready to take Orochimaru down. Kabuto would then go back to defend Orochimaru, with Sasuke saying he'll take him. Sai and Yamato played support as Naruto and Sasuke get into the battle. Naruto would power up as high as he can. One for all, 80%! As Naruto powers up, his entire body buffs up as well, with orange lightning now creasing over his entire body, and his eyes beginning to flicker as well as his hair begins to go up and down. Ah yes, the Namikaze clan's exclusive, one-of-a-kind Kekkei Genkai. One for all. It's unfortunate that only one person can possess it at a time, and that you require their DNA, wouldn't you say, Naruto? Oh, Orochimaru would say this, as Naruto then leaps into battle, instantly moving forward as a bright orange flash appears, him punching Orochimaru in the skull, sending him flying backwards. Orochimaru then kicking himself out the dirt, as he then puts himself into his snake form. With him then slithering towards Naruto, Naruto would make one finger as he flicks it towards Orochimaru, Orochimaru being hit by a blast of air. Naruto would then walk forward calmly as the earth begins to rumble around him. Orochimaru. Naruto would then begin to pull his hand out as he creates the Rasengan. I'm going to take you down right here and now. Forever. As he rushes towards Orochimaru, he would try to thrust the Rasengan into him, crushing into the ground just as Orochimaru escapes the blast. As he throws the Rasengan into the ground, slamming it into it, the entire earth around them begins to spin and explode as a humongous crater takes the entire area and begins to cause an earthquake. Sasuke would tell Naruto to calm down as Naruto was beginning to unleash some of his Kyuubi chakra. Damn it, I missed. Naruto would then begin to enter Kyuubi mode as Orochimaru knows that he's about to get screwed. Naruto then immediately teleports towards Orochimaru as he appears almost instantly beside him. Orochimaru would then get punched in the side of his head as he goes flying again, with Orochimaru now actually taking some damage. Back to Sasuke. Sasuke is now clashing using his grass blade as he's actually fighting against Kabuto with blow for blow, as the two are using his chakra scalpel and Sasuke's sword respectively with them fighting. Saya and Yamato then begin to add support as Yamato is about to use wood style to seal in the Kyuubi. Naruto would hold his hand back saying he's got this, as he then rushes forward at Orochimaru on all fours, rushing forward at full speed as he begins to use animalistic-like attacks, slashing at Orochimaru back and forth. Orochimaru is beginning to run low on chakra, and he can't continuously using the Snape Escape Jutsu every single time, as he's now beginning to get more serious. I guess Jiraiya actually trained this one for real. However, you're still relying on the Kyuubi's power. You Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Naruto would roar, as he then rushes forward on all fours again. This is when he's about to create a massive Rasengan, which is around the size of maybe 2 full-grown trees. As he slams this towards Orochimaru, Orochimaru would use the summoning jutsu of all 4 doors, just as he had to block the Four Tails mode Naruto before. As Naruto slams the Rasengan into these, he breaks through 3 of them, with the last one barely able to stop the Rasengan, it now completely cracked. Naruto would punch his way through at full force as a wind barrage begins to hit Orochimaru. As Orochimaru is about to fall, Naruto would then suddenly rush forward as he uses one of the secret techniques he'd been saving. He then throws a kunai, and on this kunai there would be a sealing jutsu. What the? Is this the 4th Hokage's? Naruto would suddenly use the flying Raijin jutsu as he teleports behind Orochimaru holding the blade to his neck, saying it's over. Naruto would then throw Orochimaru, now completely restrained, to Yamato. Yamato would then use his wood-style jutsu to seal Orochimaru up, as Orochimaru would then be immediately killed by Sai. What the? Yamato would say, as he tries to block it. Naruto's eyes would be in shock as he sees Sai finishing off Orochimaru with his knife, as he pulls out the foundation blade and finishes off Orochimaru for good, ending his life. Sasuke would be shocked as well, as he and Kabuto are both in shock. Kabuto then decides he needs to escape, as Naruto falls out of Kyuubi mode and deactivates One for All, telling Sai that was unnecessary. Sai would look at him with cold eyes, and Sasuke would allow Kabuto to escape from the distraction of Orochimaru's death. Naruto and the rest of Temporary Team 7 would then leave the Land of Grass, having successfully actually captured and eliminated Orochimaru, although Naruto wasn't exactly thrilled about this, and he and Sasuke, along with Yamato, were beginning to mistrust Sai. If you guys want to see the next part for What If Naruto had One for All, make sure to hit the like button, comment down below what you thought of this, and subscribe to the channel for more. If you want an explanation on the flying Raijin jutsu and how Naruto now has it, basically, similar to with My Hero Academia, each vestige can pass along one of their abilities, and in Naruto's case, he has all of the Namikaze clan's history, but the most recent one is the most easy to pass along their power, and so Minato gave him his flying Raijin jutsu so that Naruto could use it for teleportation. So now Naruto has the flying Raijin jutsu as a memory from Minato, as imprinted on One for All. Anyway, that's all for today. I'll see you guys later. If you want more, make sure to like, subscribe, and everything. Have an awesome day. Bye.